In this video, I'm going to be sharing my top 3 rheumatoid arthritis flare triggers. They all start with the letter S, so if you have any idea what those may be, comment below or stay tuned because that's coming all right up. Hey everyone, it's Effie. Welcome back to my channel where I discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of living with a chronic illness and other lifestyle topics. If that sounds cool to you, make sure to hit subscribe and click on the bell button to be notified every single time I post a new video. And if you are new to my channel, make sure to hop on over to the About section so you can see a little bit of a more detailed list of things you can expect to find on here. So these rheumatoid arthritis flare triggers that I'm going to be discussing probably can be relatable to many of you as well, as these are very common ones. But in the 15 years of living with this condition, I have found that these tend to be really problematic for me. I know sometimes people have had to deal with these and then for a little while after, they weren't really affected by them. But I noticed that for me, I am totally affected by them, 110%, and I just felt that it was important to share this in a video, and hopefully if you relate, let me know. And also if there's other triggers that I didn't cover, because I know for me there are other ones, but I just wanted to keep this video short and sweet. I know my recent ones have been pretty long. If you've already noticed already, I don't have a problem talking, so I am trying to tone down my future videos to be a little shorter and easier for you guys to watch, listen to, or whatever else. And so yeah, I wanted to just begin with my first one, and that is stress. This is something that I feel impacts anyone, whether you're healthy or not, and it is also linked to many chronic conditions, unfortunately. And we are just living in a world now where stress is inevitable and we have to learn how to cope and live with it. And I know I have talked to many people and we have shared similar experiences in the fact that we had a very stressful or traumatic experience happen to us prior to being diagnosed. And I know for me, I shared this recently because today is National Stress Awareness Day, and that's why I wanted to make a video about triggers and mention stress. But if you are following me on my Instagram, Rising Above RA, I made a post earlier today about stress and this experience that I had in my teen years. And anyways, so that was one big stressor that I had pinpointed as I look back on my journey around the time I started developing symptoms. Is it the only trigger? No, of course there are many things at play. I'm not going to get into those in this video, but I just know for me personally, that was a big setback in my own journey in health. And you know, even after I got diagnosed, I felt that if I was undergoing a stressful event, no matter what it was, my body tended to react negatively to it. And also what I learned, interestingly enough, is that stress doesn't always have to come from external factors. It sometimes comes from within us internally. And that is, for example, when we put unneeded pressure on ourselves to do something or overwork ourselves and put too much on our plate. So I feel it's safe to say that we can move on to number 2. And since I just mentioned burnout, I feel that that also ties into lack of sleep. But now over time, as my disease activity is pretty well controlled for the most part, and I have found supplements to help my sleep schedule be more efficient, I don't really have a problem as much as I did before. But I do notice, even till this day, that if I don't get good enough sleep, I wake up in a state where I don't feel as good in terms of my joints. And I can't say that I didn't get enough sleep prior to my diagnosis, so I don't necessarily think it was a trigger of my disease manifestation, but it has been a trigger in many of my flares. And like I said, when I'm burned out, I don't sleep enough, and then I start experiencing increased pain in my joints, inflammation, and that's how I know that I am going into a flare. And that brings me to number 3, which is sugar. There seems to be a big debate around sugar. Some people feel that it's good for you, and others say that you should avoid it like the plague if you are living with a chronic illness. For me, I have to really be careful to not go overboard, because this is something that has been a big culprit in my inflammation. And there's been times when I've avoided sugar and I've just had sugar and fruit. But I've noticed that when I stay away from the processed type of sugar the most, that I don't get as inflamed. And I know when it comes to sugar, it also is tied into your gut health and digestion, which has been also something that I've worked greatly on to improve. So over time, when I do have sugar, I don't get as impacted as I did before. I just, don't feel that it has been a big help for me in healing overall. I know a little bit of sugar does help your body, of course. We can't go without sugar. That's just saying to not eat carbs. And we all know that you should be eating carbs, and carbs aren't bad. And for some people they work, and for some it doesn't. But everyone is different, and this is what I have found for myself to be true, that if I go overboard, then I feel it. Before we go, I want to announce the Spoonie Star Supporter of the Week. Thank you so much for showing love on my Instagram. I hope this was helpful and relatable in some way to any of you out there watching. Make sure to share with anyone you know. And like I had said, list below some of your rheumatoid arthritis flare triggers. If they were the same as mine, cool. If they were something else, I will comment below and let you know if I experienced those as well. Until next time, guys, bye.